Will Peter Parker's brand new Crimson power be enough to help overcome the evil threat of the Blight and save planet Earth, or will the web slinger's time as the champion of magic be short-lived? Well, let's hop into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 70, the grand finale of the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, at the end of the last issue, Syra, daughter of SPIDER-NAUT, had sacrificed her godly immortality so that Peter Parker may live again, and live he did, only this time he was reborn. As the unstoppable SPIDER-NAUT, in Peter's narration, he actually has some fairly interesting things to say. For one, he said he's dealt with having amazing power since a very young age, and yet as Spider-Man, he never truly felt unstoppable until right now. In fact, that's kind of Spider-Man's whole thing. He's actually very stoppable. In fact, this whole series has been filled with all the stuff that stops Spider-Man dead all the time. Fear, grief, existential dread, and the inevitability of death. So, Peter hopes that no one will be upset that for the minute here he's actually enjoying having amazing power, while also feeling truly invincible. In fact, even Dr. Doom and Dr. Strange are pretty amazed when Spider-Man airdrops back into New York and manages to force the Blight out of the X-Men, who are currently beating the ever-loving crap out of each other. Spider-Man and Juggernaut even have a fun little moment too, where Peter thanks Kane for all the hard work he did holding down the fort while he was gone. Spider-Man is ready to help rejoin the fight against Cal, but Juggernaut knows that he's needed elsewhere. The X-Men will stay behind and deal with Calyx and stop him from spreading the Blight, while Spider-Man goes up top and deals with the Blight god itself. Hell, Juggernaut and Spider-NAUT even do a fun little team-up fastball special, the likes of which I've never really seen before. It's like, yo dog, I heard you like Juggernaut, so I put Juggernaut in your Spider-Man so you can Juggernaut while you Spider-Man. The most surprising thing, though, about this series so far is just how upbeat and positive Peter is being for the first time in, like, a long time. Geez, if I knew making him a Juggernaut would make him be a lot more likable and a lot more fun to read, then really they should have made Spider-Man the Amazing Spider-NAUT a long time ago, yeah? Oh, but of course the story isn't just about Spider-Man, it's after that we transition back on over to Syra. She desperately beseeches her father SPIDER-NAUT to get off his big red ass and actually do something important by the time this story is all said and done, but the Crimson God cannot. For you see, much like how Spider-Man was before, even this amazing god is paralyzed with doubt and fear and hopelessness. So much so that he couldn't stop one of his sons from killing all of his other children. Though perhaps now, with the casket broken and the threat of the Blight threatening to destroy the entire universe, it's about time that SPIDER-NAUT finally gets his damn head in the game. And not a moment too soon either, as up in space we see Spider-Man take the fight directly to the Blight, and he's actually doing fairly well too. Well, that is until SPIDER-NAUT stops him by taking back the Crimson gift that made Spider-Man Spider-NAUT in the first place. Oh man, it really is true what they say, God giveth and God taketh away, huh? But why on earth is SPIDER-NAUT trying to stop Spider-Man right now? Well, the way he puts it, this is all futile, that the Blight is destined to destroy everyone and everything, and there's no point in fighting against it. Again, SPIDER-NAUT is essentially stuck in the same deep, dark emo hole that Peter himself was stuck in, which actually ends up making Spider-Man probably the most qualified person to try and talk this god out of his funk. In fact, it's heavily implied that that's the whole reason that Dr. Doom actually chose Peter to be the champion of magic in the first place, solely so he could give this cosmic pep talk, which actually ends up going off without a hitch. Peter talks about how much he loves his friends and family and how life is hard, his especially because it's so strange and out there, but how he wouldn't trade it for any life in the world because, it's special because it's fragile. You gotta believe in yourself, eat your green vegetables, take your vitamins, and about a dozen other cliches that actually end up really affecting SPIDER-NAUT, who chooses to alter the whole magical cast deal. Basically, Spider-Man doesn't need to be champion of magic anymore, the games will be cancelled because SPIDER-NAUT himself will become the brand new Crimson cast, keeping the evil of the Blight at bay forever, which I guess is good for SPIDER-NAUT because now he actually feels like he's doing something important and actually getting involved again. Good, I guess. And yeah, with that, the day is essentially saved, but the story is actually far from over as Peter goes out of his way to try and make up for being such a lead balloon over the course of this series, starting with actually attending the funeral of that window washer from the first issue back when all of this started. Damn, even I'm shocked that I remember that. He also apologizes to Aunt May and gives her flowers, which I thought was particularly nice. Calyx will be the prisoner of his sister Syra, who I guess is just going to be sticking around on Earth now. Hell, Peter even finds teens time to attend Robbie's big photo gallery, which is actually a huge hit. Turns out people actually love Spider-Man. He even manages to patch things up with his girlfriend, Nurse Shay, who just ends up taking him back. Goddamn, this woman is quite the doormat, isn't she? Oh no, wait, I mean, she's all in awe how Peter has grown as a person and learned a really important lesson. I mean, you know, until he does all of this over again, probably in the next arc. And so that was Amazing Spider-Man issue number 70, everybody, and overall, this ended up actually being a mostly passable finale to this big event that was kind of all over the damn place. I appreciate for once that the big thrust of the finale here was Peter coming to the realization that he had been a totally unlikable drag for like 80% of this story. And for a glorious second there, Peter Parker was actually proactive as Spider-Man, getting things done and actually having fun while doing it. Of course, it only really lasted for a second, and in fact, this whole finale kind of falls apart when you stop and think about it. Spider-Man didn't stop Calyx, the X-Men did. And he also technically didn't stop the Blight either. That was actually Sidorak himself, who only got involved because Syra got him to get involved. And yes, technically Syra only had a change of heart because, you know, she was so taken by Peter and how he represented the beauty and worth of humanity. But beyond that, what did he really do here in this finale? Feels like everyone else did all the heavy lifting, while Peter just gave some fairly cliche pep talks. Hell, I'm kind of disappointed that Spider-Man and Doctor Doom didn't have at least one more conversation by the time all of this was said and done. They just go, nope, this was all part of Doom's plan from the beginning. And then he just kind of fades away to be part of a more interesting story in One World Under Doom. But still though, for what it's worth, this wasn't actually the worst finale it could have been. In fact, I would go as far as to say it was much better than the 3 issues that preceded it, which is why I would actually give this one a 6 out of 10. Still doesn't necessarily mean I would be recommending 8 Deaths of Spider-Man to anyone anytime soon, and it doesn't exactly fill me with joy or excitement for the brand new Joe Kelly era of Amazing Spider-Man starting soon. But if I may offer some faint praise to this story, it was a much gentler kick in the nads than I'm used to. Yeah, somehow I feel they're not going to be putting that review on the dust jacket now, are they? Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, you know, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.